Hey guys, we're looking at example 1 here again. Remember when you're solving nonlinear inequalities, first thing is you have to make sure it has a 0 on one side of that inequality. As we see here in example 1, it does. Then you need to find the x-intercepts and the vertical asymptotes because that's going to be where our intervals are broken up into. So we need to first go through and we need to find our x-intercepts. Well, remember, how do you find an x-intercept? You set the polynomial equal to 0 and you solve. So when we do this, we need to factor. And then we're going to set both of those factors each equal to 0 and solve for them. So x minus 3 equals 0 and x plus 2 equals 0. We solve it and we find we have x-intercepts at positive 3 and an x-intercept at negative 2. Now for vertical asymptotes, remember vertical asymptotes are where your denominator is equal to 0, the uncanceled factors of it. But in this problem, we don't have a denominator because we don't have a fraction. Therefore, we don't have to worry about vertical asymptotes, so there are none. Next, we're going to go ahead and we're going to set up our interval table. Alright guys, so here we have our interval table, and remember your interval, like we had said, is broken up by those x-intercepts and the vertical asymptotes. Your intervals will always start at negative infinity, and they will always end at positive infinity. So our first interval is from negative infinity to our smallest x-intercept, which is at negative 2. And then our second interval is going to be from negative 2 to the next x-intercept at 3, and then finally we have the interval from 3 to positive infinity. Remember, your infinities will always have parentheses. Your x-intercepts will only have brackets if your inequality has an equal to piece in it. So if it's less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. We can see in this problem that it's just less than. So all of our x-intercepts here, the negative 2 and the 3, will get parentheses as well. So then we have to pick an x value that's in that interval. So we said we're going to pick negative 3, and we might pick 0 and 4. Then next, we're going to plug those into our function up at the top, the x squared minus x minus 6, and I want to know what is that function value, the f of x value, the y value. So let's do that real quick here. Okay, so when we plug them in, we see we've got 6 for negative 3, negative 6 for 0, and positive 6, that is a 6, sorry about that, for positive 4. So we know that since the first one there, the 6 is positive, it's going to be a plus. Negative 6 is negative, and positive 6 is positive. Now, you look back at your problem. Your problem had less than or equal to 0. What kind of numbers are less than or equal to 0? Negative numbers. So you go back into your table here and you find, where do you have a negative sign? Well, we have a negative sign right here. And where is that interval? That interval then is between negative 2 and positive 3. And that is our solution.